Welcome into today's video, you guys. Today we're going to do a full face of Merit Beauty. I have done a video just like this. I have purchased literally everything from their line. I want to say it was like 5 to 6 months ago that I did a full face of Merit Beauty video where I was reviewing each of their releases. But Merit just dropped a new product in their Day Glow in a new shade. It's supposed to be universally flattering for everybody, so we'll test that out today. But also, Merit Beauty had reached out to me and sent me some PR. So I wanted to do a new video talking about some of the items from their line, but also sharing with you guys like what my favorites are and then testing out this new shade in the Day Glow. So that's what's on today's agenda, you guys. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Merit Beauty, as you know, is very minimalist beauty. I roll around with no makeup all the time, but I like to play around with it. And so when I'm playing with makeup, I'm not usually grabbing for more minimalist makeup, and I especially love eyeshadows. So I usually go for more vibrant looks. But I also just did a video, best-selling Sephora products that were actually worth the hype. And I did feature 3 of those things in that video, which I think is just kind of coincidental that I was like at the time making a video like that, and then Merit had reached out to me. So let me show you guys what they sent me. And I did see that they released this. This is their new Merit bag. It ties like this. You tie the knot in the top like so. It's kind of cute. It's got their little Merit inside here. It's basically like corduroy is what it is. And I found out that if you guys do make your first purchase, I think on Merit's website, they throw that bag in for free. I don't see the bag specifically sold on their website, so I'm thinking they're just throwing it in for those who purchase from their website. I will be putting a link to their site in the description box. You can get a lot of this stuff on Sephora's website. Usually my links, if I can, they do earn me a small commission, but a lot of times my links don't. This particular one will. So if you guys are interested in checking any of their stuff out, you can click that link. Of course, it does help my channel and I really appreciate it. It is so weird saying that because I legitimately have only gotten like 2 larger, maybe 3 larger companies have reached out to me at this point, and I'm baffled, but I'm also like starting to use discount or affiliate codes and kind of linking things that aren't from the shop where I generate my own links. So I feel like I'm having to kind of say that. That's how I feel about it. So let's get into each of the items. I'm going to start off with honestly what I consider skincare. I have mentioned the Great Skin Instant Serum Glow in speed reviews videos before. It doesn't overall do a whole ton for me. It's supposed to be a lightweight bi-phase serum that instantly hydrates and plumps skin for a healthy glow. Bi-phase meaning you can kind of see that it's separated in the bottle here. It's a nice glass bottle. Most of Merit's packaging is really nice, and I have talked about that before. It has 4 types of hyaluronic acid to target multiple layers of skin to lock in hydration for all-day moisture. Niacinamide, caffeine-rich cocoa seed extract, Japanese goth red root helps soothe skin, supports a healthy skin barrier over time, non-comedogenic. So yeah, 2% niacinamide for brightening, the hyaluronic acid for hydration, the cocoa seed extract for plumping, and the Japanese gold thread root antioxidant protection. It's so like difficult to show you because it's basically like just kind of water. So I had moved it to my skincare drawer because that's really how I'm gonna probably use this. I have not rotated this into my skincare just yet. I have a ton of skincare that I'm working through, and generally it goes like oldest to newest. It's nice and lightweight, and I like all of the ingredients in it. I don't know if I would repurchase that particular product. There's a lot more things in skincare that I kind of like. An Instant Glow Serum, I get a lot of those ingredients from my other products. It's nice in that they have something that can be considered a primer in their line, and also it fits the aesthetic and it's glass packaging and all of that great stuff. So I'm not mad at it. That does retail for $38. Now, the one thing that I wish Merit would really work on maybe next is like some type of pencil. So they do have what's called the 1980 Brow Pomade. It's supposed to be a volumizing pomade in their line. This only comes in 3 shades. I've already decluttered this. I just had to pull it out of the pile that I was going to give to my sister because I don't find that it does enough for me. It's supposed to be a nod to the brows of the 80s. This pomade adds color and volume for healthy, fluffy arches. Except it's just not intensely pigmented at all, and it only comes in 3 shades, which is fine, I think personally, because these just don't add a ton of pigment. I have mine in the shade Blonde, which is the lightest shade, which is supposed to be pretty neutral. And then it goes brown, which is a light to medium cool brown, and then black, which is a warm dark brown. And I just don't think it's intensely pigmented. And I'm missing so much brow over here that like as a standalone product, it's not enough for me because I need to like draw in here and here. It's like a soft hold is what I've referred to it as before. And I don't usually like fluff up my brows. So again, like as a standalone, this is not like enough for me. If you really wanted to like fluff up your brows, I don't know if this is the hold that you would be looking for. It doesn't get like crunchy or anything, so that's nice. I still feel like I only have like 5 hairs going on though. So this is not my favorite product from Merit, and that's why I did declutter it. I feel like I have this like one like bald spot like right there, which I normally draw in. Oh well, we're gonna leave it. It's just a really soft hold. Very, very minimal. And the brow pomade retails for $24. Now let's move into the solo shadows. So these are the matte eye colors, which I feel like have had polarizing reviews on YouTube, really just of people that I've seen. They have the neutrals and then they have the statements. And I want to say that they have expanded the shade range. I want to say when I got these, there was only like 3 or 4 shades. Now there appears to be 8. And these retail for $24 a piece. I have one of the statements, which is social, and then I have studio, which is the cool taupe. So I do have one from each. One of the neutrals, one of the statements. And I gave them a really good review. I think for what they are, they're fine. But I have talked about their brushes. I do have the number 2, the eyeshadow brush. It comes with one smaller side to buff out the cream shadows, and then one if you wanted to do like precision work with the cream shadows. I have raved about their brushes, very specifically the number 1 brush. And they sent me another one, which I was thrilled about. I did not request that they send that, but it just got thrown in the stuff that they sent me. And this was part of what was in the Sephora's bestsellers that I thought was worth the hype. I like these. Again, I think they're just fine for a nice matte shadow. I just feel like people thought that these were, I don't know, maybe a little bit trickier to blend out. I did not have that issue. I thought they were just fine. These ones have a purpose for me, unlike what I feel about the 1980 brow pomade, even the Serum. Going in with the social shade, which by the way was like sold out forever on their website. How is that not like perfect? Like if you're going for minimalist, how is that not like the simplest, easiest thing to blend out? I think you do need like a little bit of a dense brush or denser brush when you're playing with this shadow. And maybe that's why people didn't like it. They're maybe using it with a fluffier brush and it was a little bit more difficult. But I think these are perfectly creamy, super easy, 5.5 second eyeshadow. And I even think you can even build these up to be more dramatic. And I've even layered these. I've used multiple shades at once and they seem just fine for me. And this brush is perfect. Formula hair stays creamy long enough for you to blend this out like along the edges, and then it like fully locks down. I feel like for me, if there's like ever a time for minimalist beauty, these shadows fill that for me. I do not mind these whatsoever. So these are in my permanent collection. You reach for these for a simple look. And these are the only matte shadows that I have, like cream matte shadows in my collection. Okay, let's go into their complexion stick, which is called the Minimalist. I had this in my collection before I did that testing everything that Merit has released video. I had already purchased this from Sephora's website and I tried it as an all over foundation. But for somebody who likes a little bit more coverage and also someone has combo to oilier complexion, I don't think that this is like really the foundation for you, or not like a product that can be really all in one. But I loved this as a concealer, and so I had put it in my concealer drawer and that's how I was using it. When I recently did a declutter, I decided this needed to go because it wasn't one that I was reaching for, but I in fact really enjoyed it as a concealer. It's very, very sheer coverage again, just super minimalist. It's not a foundation or a concealer, but it'll replace both in your makeup bag is like the tagline here. Comes in 20 different shades, retails for $38. I am gonna wear it like that today. I'm basically just gonna put it in like a couple of places. And right now I am just using the brush that I already had in my collection. Next, I would like to see Merit come out with a powder of some sort. I imagine it'll be like a finishing powder, just a little powder, like a nice soft focus, very light powder. But I do now have a backup of this brush. I might as well just take it out. I freaking love this thing. These retail for $32, but I definitely think that they are, I mean, worth it for a really nice foundation buffing brush. And the reason that I think so is because it's like the perfect density, but it is extremely soft. Like it's high quality synthetic fiber and it's like perfectly angled. So I've used this with like blush. I think I've even kind of used this to buff in the sheer bronzing stick before because it just kind of like hugs the curves of my face perfectly. And I've also mentioned like I love the feeling of using this brush because it's shorter and you get like a little bit more control, and for some reason the application becomes more pleasurable. Also, Hourglass is a similar brush and I believe it's more expensive, so if you are interested in like getting one that's like this or trying this, I think Merit is the way to go there. I want to throw on their lip oil. This is the Shade Slick Tinted Lip Oil. In this they have the gelées and they also have the classics. I did declutter the gelées. That really wasn't like my favorite. It was almost like it was like pH changing in Jeté, which is the shade I had, which is sheer neutral, but it looked like hot pink at the end. But I kept this one because I really like it. This one is in the shade Pink Beet, which is a cool pink. I enjoy this. It's like really tiny doe foot applicator, but this one just had a nicer tone to it. I just recently decluttered the gelée one. I passed it along to my daughter. But also I needed to minimize my collection too. I'm just gonna throw this on while we're filming. I definitely prefer the classics over the gelée. This is your very standard lip oil formula. These do retail for $24. The classics come in 8 shades and the gelées come in 4. All right, let's go into a product that won Allure Best of Beauty for 2021. It's their Clean Lash Lengthening Mascara. This is not as intense as I like for me personally. I know there are a lot of you guys out there that like a very minimal lash, something a little bit more fluffy. I like intense lashes, so this just doesn't suit my personal preference. It's your go-to mascara for every day. It tints, lengthens, and lifts lashes with no smudging ever. This retails for $26. It's actually more intense than I remember it being, but definitely not as intense as I would normally go. Plus I have mascaras in my collection that are maybe a little bit lighter that I can wear on an everyday basis. This is just gotta be like some of your guys' preferences. I don't know who voted on it to win Allure Best of Beauty for 2021, but it seems like there are a lot of people out there that like it. It's a natural bristled wand, but it's smaller. I can really feel it gripping like each of the lashes. So it's a little bit of a tackier formula, but not crazy. I don't think it's an overly buildable formula though, and it's not meant to be. All right, let's go into the other thing that I talked about being worth the hype from Sephora's bestseller list, which was their sheer bronzing stick. It's called the Bronze Balm. I have mine in the shade K. Is it K or Clay? Clay. The reason I think this is like a unique product is because most bronzing sticks at the current moment to me are not sheer. They're not like balms, at least the ones that like sell at Sephora's website, and this is the only one that I know of that is so unoffensive as far as like a warmer toned bronzer goes. I just think it's unique. I have kept that in my collection. I thoroughly enjoy that product. I've enjoyed it since I got it. You can go ham on it. I don't think it takes a degree in blending to make it look good. I just feel like it's idiot proof, and I really like it for a light bronze, even though I love wearing more makeup than this on an everyday basis. The next product I have not raved about personally. It's the Merit Blush Balm, right? The Flush Balm cheek color. This one is in Beverly Hills. I actually did put this in reference and pulled it back out. A reference is like the place where I keep all my stuff that I know are popular products that I don't want to get rid of because I'm sure I will reference them. Hence this video at some point. This did win Allure Best of Beauty for 2022, but I have decided to do a cream blush ranking, an updated one of all the cream blushes that I have in my collection, and I pulled this back out. You guys might be surprised where this landed because I thought this was going to be like up there, you know, in terms of where I start at the bottom, but I reapplied this and I'm like starting to get the hype. This is like one balm. By the way, I'm using the brush that they gave me to blend this in. One balm that I think is actually worth drawing onto your face because it doesn't leave any weird harsh lines. I don't think that I have enough base down to disturb it. So if you're going in with a lighter complexion product, then I think you can just draw this on. Otherwise, use this brush because it's literally perfect for that. So I'm probably going to end up pulling this out because look how cool it looks for like the summer. Just a little bit juicy. I have been changing my blush preferences though. The reason I initially got rid of this is because I felt like it was just probably too sheer for me, and then also the longevity here is not long. It fades off pretty quickly, and it also like doesn't like completely dry down, so this is not probably like my preferred blush, but it's so freaking natural and it applies so much more evenly than a lot of other products that I thought did better in my collection. So retesting these 50 different formulas that I have really makes me have a different appreciation for this product. And it comes in 9 shades, which is not half bad, and then it retails for 30 bucks. I literally have grabbed no other tools than what is literally in their line. I've used this brush. You can use this brush for freaking everything. Concealer, foundation. I used it for the balm. I used it for the blush. I just think that's a really good product, honestly. Okay, so I already had one of the Day Glow balms in my collection. This was the lightest, actually no, I don't think I have the lightest shade. This was the second lightest shade. There's 4 shades in this line. It's called the Day Glow Highlighting Balm. It retails for $32. It's made for daytime. This highlighter gives a dewy, balmy sheen with 0 sparkle. This is actually the second lightest shade, which is Citrine. It's a soft gold. The lightest one was Cava, which is champagne. Ask me why I didn't get the lightest shade. I literally don't know. Bounce is a rose gold, which looks really pretty. But what they sent me was their brand new shade, which is Solstice, which is supposed to be a neutral bronze. But because I wanted to put this on today, I didn't want to try and use this as a bronzer. So I think I'm just gonna try and use this as honestly like a highlighting balm, like it says. Now, I will tell you, I love Citrine. Like, I did not mind that this was like a deeper shade at all, where normally me getting the deeper shade in a highlighter is a huge mistake. But it's so sheer. It's basically just like light reflecting. And honestly, it's kind of a cool formula. I feel like maybe you could even like use this, you know, all over to like glisten at the pool or something. Here is Solstice, the new shade. I'm just gonna draw this on and tap it in. And I'm just gonna throw it up there too. Let's bounce this in with the brush. Yeah, I'm glowing, you guys. Now this doesn't like typically suit my complexion, you guys, which I told you is combo. I wouldn't normally like layer all of these products on top of each other, but I think using like 1 or 2 of them is really nice. Like the bronzer and the blush I could see myself using all the time. This I probably wouldn't layer on top of both of those things, but I would wear like one of these. It's just that these shades, they're literally so sheer. You could use at any skin tone, any one of these shades. So I feel like Solstice you could use as honestly a glowy ass bronzer. Woo, that was a close call. My dogs just wanted to kill UPS just now, which is not very nice because he's bringing me goodies. All right, let's get into some of my favorite products from Merit. They did send me one, but I have 2 formulas of my own. I have one of each of their lipsticks. They just launched the matte, which they didn't send me the matte. They sent me the signature lip, which I was like, why don't you want me to like showcase the matte formula? This was another product that I talked about in my Sephora bestsellers that I think are worth the hype. Part of the reason is because they're so neutral and flattering on the lips and so comfortable. And also, I really enjoy this packaging. There's just something kind of cool about the way lip products packaging. It makes me feel, you know, in my drawer when they're more expensive looking, I guess. So the Satins comes in 8 shades, which is this packaging here. I had the shade Baby, which you guys, I have literally said is my perfect neutral for my lips, which is so hard to do because a lot of these brownier tones that are lighter wash out my face and I hate that. And so I always see these videos of like perfect lip combos and people putting like this super beigey stuff on their lips, and that would literally make me look like I didn't have any. It just, I don't think it's flattering on my skin tone. But Baby is literally like my perfect neutral shade. This is also like, it starts out sheer formula and then you can kind of like build this up, which is really comfortable and nice. I've just like layered it a couple of times. It's a satin finish, but it feels balm-like. It's very slick on the skin. I just enjoy it. By the way, these retail for $26 a piece. So they sent me Millennial. I think I was able to pick the shade in the satin finish. So I'm definitely interested to test this out. This looks like an even like pinkier color, which they do have some like reds and, you know, some orange colors in their line in here. So they're not all like fully neutral or not like what I would consider like cool tones. Oh yeah, I almost feel like this would be even better shade for me. This literally makes me look like my lips but better. This is why I feel like these shades are so flattering. At least these two that I've tried in this satin formula. And I also want to show you guys the matte version. This one is in Maison, which is maybe like my deeper shade of these three now. All three of these shades are super flattering. Like I love the range. It's quite limited so far, but I still love the range. Again, not sure why they didn't send me the new formula. You know, if they're sending me like the new shade of the highlighting balm. Although I will say, you know, a satin is a satin sometimes as it pertains to lip products. But again, for me in lip products, like it's about experience a lot of times. It's the packaging, it's the bullet, it's the weight of something that gets me, and I just enjoy their lip products aesthetic. Now I will say with this matte formula, the first time I tried it, it had like a layer on it and it was drying. In my continued use of it, it broke off like the top layer and then it dries down to a powder finish. But initially, when I first tried it, I was like, oh no, that emphasizes my lip lines way too much and it's too drying. I again recommended this in my Sephora's bestsellers that I feel like are worth the hype. However, that's probably a bestseller at the current moment because it's a new release, which happens to be what people typically pick up when it's first launched, and so that's why it pushes it into the bestsellers because it's just being purchased a lot. Anyway, that was everything that I had on my own, my true and honest opinion about their line. But this is kind of a refresh. There are often times where my opinions change about something as I continue to use it, or even they change because my preferences change. Overall, I'm like looking, let me show you guys how I have this like set up. I'll throw up an insert of how I was like stacking this stuff and just setting it aside. And like aesthetically, it's very pleasing. Looking at the packaging, it's very consistent. It makes you feel some sort of way. And if you're someone who likes to do your makeup very quickly, you like a dewy, natural looking complexion and application, then Merit honestly is the way to go at the current moment. They do have some really standout items, even for me who doesn't love minimalist beauty. Again, you guys, I will link the link to their site. Anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm out of here and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye guys.